I have to stop cursing. We're live. Well, Christine
Hi.
is live and most of me is live. Hi. Oh,
Good
God.
morning from a freezing cold Christchurch.
Oh, I see why. Sorry, this is me. Hi, everyone. I'm very sorry. I am the reason that we're late. I'm very sorry, Christine, as well. Like, extra sorry. It wasn't on purpose, everyone. I'm almost never late, actually, believe it or not. Ooh. Sorry, we're just having a little fisheye moment. There we go. I'm almost never late, and I fell back asleep.
Well,
I could pretend like something else happened, but that's the whole story, guys.
can I just tell you, it's officially 4.5 degrees in Christchurch, but it feels like 1, and
Sorry,
we're
everyone.
going for a high of 5 or 6.
So
but
it is
that's only
a
briefly sort of hitting that for 1 hour.
good day to be knitting.
Yes,
Every
and a
day.
good day to get out your knits. Isn't
Yeah.
this what we all live for?
It is. I'm sorry. I'm going to sprint to the back and turn the heat pump on.
Right. So it has a little bit of ambient heat in the room, but you know, we need a bit more really on days like this. I mean, there is blue sky, a bit of blue sky, but I think we are forecast for rain this afternoon. So yeah, a suggestion of warmth, but you know, really.
Not the reality.
So we're all rugged up.
Yeah, classic. Wow, we really hit the Brooklyn Tweed top layers out of the park here today, folks. Then I think we divert. I doubled up on it. My hood is over there, and I'm very tempted to take this off and put the hood on, because my head is very. You know what? I'm gonna just. Sorry, everybody.
Put the hood on.
Yeah,
So-
I want the additional warmth from it on the back of my head. I'll be honest, it's a little chilly. Okay, there we go.
Looks like I'm now doing a podcast with a monk.
Or
That's all right.
Hey, you know what? There are worse things in life to be compared to than monks. That's all I'm gonna put out there. There's a lot of other stuff going on. What are they doing? What's the worst that's happening? They're making some cheese,
Or doing some illuminated script work.
Yeah, oh no,
Yeah.
not a monk. God forbid. I mean, honestly, guys, I do practically live like a Catholic monk. It's not great. Good morning, everybody who is stuck around or tuned in, God Almighty. So what are you wearing? in
Right,
totality?
okay.
Tell the people.
Now I've got multiple layers on today because it is freezing.
Yeah, she is not warm.
So I've got my stranger cardigan doing the starskin hutch look. So
Yeah, there we
it's
go.
got the big collar. So I'll just take that off because, you know, I'm brave. And and then I have got...
Oh, putting your money where your mouth is with the trigono layering.
Yes, so this is my trigono.
And this is the
Let me
Merci one.
This is the Mercy, which is 50% wool, 50% cotton, and I knitted it as
There's
a
something
summer
we shared
top, and then
earlier.
I discovered I can wear this as a vest in winter.
Yeah. So
So,
you just got like a long sleeve merino skivvy situation
Yeah.
on underneath.
long sleeve merino
There
underneath
we go.
and grey, and I thought,
Boom.
And then I've got my Areca cowl.
Yeah. Do you
Now-
have two of those?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I saw the other one earlier this week, and I was sitting here and I'm like, was I really on something
Yeah.
the other night? No. Okay.
So
good. You have
this
two.
is used the spin cycle plump, but
Yes.
I was actually thinking
You could do it in
in
the soft.
And you'd only need
One
one
ball.
ball, and you'd have yarn left over.
Of the fringe.
But yeah, well, no, the meterage for the
Oh.
pattern, which I'll show you.
There we go. Boom.
Now,
yeah, I quite like this pattern.
Yes, now for those of you that lived through the 70s, the fringing is supposed to come down here, and that was just way too much for me. And I saw on
Zippers,
another
everyone, zippers.
podcast, so I only did the fringing on part. And so it's got a 2x2 rib. It's really chunky yarn,
Yeah.
big needles, I think 6.5. And you only need 190 metres, and that includes the fringing all down the other side. But I had 2 skeins of plump,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a lot of white in it, so I cut the white out. I know. And
She edited.
edited it, and then I put that into the other one
Mhm.
that had the white. Now, a little travel tip for beginners with the fringing to make it look as if you've gone to an awful lot of effort is I just put a little knot in
Oh.
the end, and then that helps the fringe stay down and doesn't fly away. Now, I made 2 of these for friends, and what I did was put 14 ply or 12 ply, I mean, I had something around for the back because you really need it on the back, and then Christine just used DK
Oh.
and a variegated yarn that I had in stash, with same size needles, you've got to block it. You've got to block this bit out.
You do have to block it.
But munch this bit up at the back because you don't want the ribbing stretched
Yes.
out because it's all cosy. And look, it's the best thing out. I wear this over dresses, over tops.
Yeah.
Just
This
feels,
is the second one you've worn this
Yeah.
week.
and it's sort of like, gosh. And then when I looked at what the pattern gauge and everything was, I thought you could do that in the soft,
Yeah.
and it would be so because. Travel tip.
The soft
Another travel tip for beginners:
is
you want a
delightful.
nice soft yarn at the back of the neck. If it's itchy and scratchy, you won't wear
I
it.
think in general, honestly, if it's gonna be touching your face or neck,
Yeah.
you want something that you consider nice and soft. Like, this is not the time to be like, well, for example, for myself, this would not be the time to knit with Lopi or to knit with like 5 strands of Jameson's held together. Like, I would definitely be like, maybe I have some.
So,
I think somewhere in my stash I do have some bulky weight cashmere. That's
oh my god.
a cardinal sin.
So this is Arika, which is spelled Arika, and it's just a one-page pattern, and it's on
That's
6
another thing that Christine does love.
6.5mm needles, but it's a one-page with full instructions, not like a one-page Issachar pattern where it's like make it up as you go along.
I mean,
so it's. And
I think we should
it's just
continue
great.
referring to Issachar one-page patterns as suggestions.
But this is a great gift.
Yes.
You know,
Bulky
we
weight
don't want to
knitting
get
is
into
a great
talking
gift.
what happens at the end of the year, but now if you're
Oh.
between projects, now's the time to get some of your gift knitting done.
That's true.
Yeah. It's sort of like a palette cleanser.
Ooh.
Yeah. Look at us.
I mean, yes, I am chilly. So I'm not stripping down the way she did. That's outrageous. I'm regretting not wearing gloves. So I'm wearing my knockoff September sweater
Right.
by Petite Knits, which is a great way to tell all of you, and my actual Petite Knits pattern, the Sophie Hood. This is a great way to tell everybody that we are going to be getting the Petite Knits printed patterns and zips to go with them in.
Oh.
Thanks to the lovely Mary who helped us make a great list of patterns to get in. We have our first order all sorted, and those will be coming in the next little while.
Wow.
We don't ever know exactly when, guys, because
Shipping.
But they will arrive. And yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Right.
And those will be available in store. So we are going to be expanding and getting some Issachar printed patterns, singles. So just expanding our printed in-store pattern selection. We realize that people have kind of understandably come full circle, and definitely want some in-store pattern support now. So we're going to get onto that. Over the top of all of this, which I'm going to now close back over because my legs are getting cold, I'm wearing the movable blanket known as Belfast.
Yeah, I know.
By
It looks
Veronique
it.
Avery.
God, it's impressive. It's a fashion statement, people.
It's nature's greatest defense against the cold. So it has these big, long, overlapping fronts, and the whole back is cabled and it's scooped out, and it's got a big, giant shawl collar at the top, and so you can just really like bed down into it in public like this. You can tuck your Sophie hood up nice and high, and then your triple stranded one color brioche jumper underneath.
God, triple strand.
Yes, 2 strands of silk mohair, 1 strand of Tivini.
Oh, okay.
That will keep you nice and warm. So yeah, there we go. I'm also wearing a merino t-shirt underneath of all of this.
Yeah, well, hello. I've got merino undergarments as well.
Oh yeah.
Because honest to God, people, it's like
I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks. It's an experience. Anyway, she's a little bit chilly in Christchurch, but if you don't want to be chilly, I think knitting is actually the answer, because I am much warmer sitting here in 9 layers of wool than I would be in anything else.
Well, I was outside this morning. There was a guy stepped out with a pair of shorts on. I couldn't believe it.
No.
Not exercise shorts, like regular shorts. And then he had some sort of sweatshirt that looked like it was made out of polar fleece and a puffer vest. And I felt like saying, get a wool jersey, man. So, yeah.
Sorry, just to interrupt briefly before we go any further, to answer some questions. It turns out it is cold all over New Zealand. Palmerston North is not cold. And for those of you who are not from New Zealand, we have to have a Palmerston North and just Palmerston because naturally there were 2 of them. And it's one country with 2 islands. And turns out the one on this island, even though it's not quite as mighty as the one on the North Island, if you will, was indeed founded first, if I understand the reason this is like this correctly.
Right, yeah.
And so the one on the North Island, we call Palmerston North,
North.
instead of the more logical conclusion of just changing one of the names. Anyway.
But that's a bit like Havelock and Havelock North.
Yes, also, make it one thing or change the names. Okay, cool. Let's just say, like, Upper Hut, Lower Hut. No! Stop! Oh, okay. Moving on. Oh, and Adele is wondering what. No, see, I know the answer to this. What is the pattern for your cardigan?
Oh, the Stranger cardigan. It's
Yeah.
a Brooklyn tweed, and you use shelter.
Yes.
Or
Oh.
what else have we got? Because there's
What
not
else
a lot
have
of
we got?
shelter hanging there.
You can use lore.
Could you use Gilead?
You could use
Gillette.
Gillette. You could use
Yeah.
lore. The Gillette may make it a little drapier. Sorry, not drapier. A little heavier. Where if you went with lore, it would probably be a little drapier.
But this is the one where I modelled it earlier, and you can wear it up the other way.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
reversible.
Yeah, well, it's not sort of reversible, it's upside down.
Bi-directional?
Yes. So you can either do the Starsky and Hutch where you've got the big shawl, because you knit the cable part first, and then you pick up the stitches, I think. I'm trying to remember. It's got a seam down the back, so you must do it in two parts. So you can
Usually.
either have the cable, as I was wearing it, with a big shawl, or you have it going around the bottom, and then you get, I think, looks quite elegant.
Is that where you get the square edges at the
Yes,
top? Yeah,
and it comes down.
It
and
looks similar to this collar,
yes,
actually.
yeah, and so that drapes down the front, and so it's shorter. It's almost like, it's shorter, whereas this one just drapes down and just keeps you snugly warm. So it's great. It's what I reach for when I need something in it. Yeah, and it was a reasonably easy knit, and there's no buttonholes because you just drape it over. And the sleeves are plain, so really it's only the cable, and the cable. I think I knitted this without making a mistake.
I believe so.
Oh my god, I
You
can't believe
could
it.
also always go for an adventure and knit it in something from Issachar. There's always the silk mohair and Jensen route. We do have Jensen in the 44S at the moment.
Yeah.
That could be quite effective. So there's in the lore again, like there's lots of ways I think to play with that pattern.
That's right.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you start looking around.
I know, and then you get inspired, and you think,
Yeah. And I mean, don't be held back too with like the idea of holding something double, especially on a cable. Even holding two planar yarns double. So like you could use Highland held double on the same needle size and get a relatively good gauge, and it adds additional texture to the stitch. So it just makes it look fuller and richer if you can reach gauge with those sorts of yarns. So don't be afraid of the holding double when it comes to cabling.
No.
It doesn't add any difficulty to the situation.
No, and if you decide to use, I haven't knitted with the alpaca one, but with the mohair, if you put that, it just sticks to the other yarn, and you don't
really
need to
does.
worry about dropping a stitch or picking up three or missing one stitch, because it just grabs, they both grab one another. So yeah, so that's that. Now, update on my Materiki top. So I finished the back, so I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you should be. Oh boom, here, cover me up a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, so I've got the 9 stars of Materiki.
Perfect.
So the back was longer than what I thought, because I think last time I'd finished at the top of the top star, and but the back was, so anyway, I'm well on the way with the front, but I just can't do that while I'm talking to you people. So yeah, and I'm mastering the metallic thread. Now I thought I don't want to put people off, because you could still do this pattern and do what I did with my other one, which I would have worn today, but I thought I'll just wear this for something different. Is used 2 threads of mohair or alpaca if you don't like mohair. In the little
we do
to do
have
the colours.
the EcoSoft Fine, and we have the alpaca, the silk mohair. So the EcoSoft Fine is alpaca yak with a silk core.
Oh,
so
nice.
it's great for people who aren't necessarily
a big fan of mohair or can't wear it. Yeah.
And do as well. Oh my goodness, I forgot to send a newsletter this week. By the end of the week, sorry everyone. I'll try to get one out today. Don't forget, it's Wool Feast in Christchurch. Oh my God. If you're in Christchurch this weekend, do go check it out. Some of the best hand dyers and fiber vendors from around New Zealand. In no particular order, my favorites that if I wasn't working all day tomorrow, I would pop in and see. Okay, in one particular order, Hanui, because I only get to see her really twice a year with the amazing array of fiber that she brings. And if you love to spin, you really, really need to go and visit them. As well, Happy Go Nitty will be down, which means that you'll have access to all of her bases. I think Helene is one of the best hand dyers in the South Island, so if you've been looking for like that perfect color to match with something that you can't find anywhere else, and like a semi-solid, she's definitely the place to go. So make sure that you make a stop there. We stock the lovely yarn floozy, and she has recently just been featured with a collaboration with one of the museums in Auckland, which is
the
really
Auckland Art Gallery.
Yeah, which is with the Auckland Art Gallery, which is amazing. So huge congratulations to Katrine. If you are in town, her yarn is definitely art, and I would highly recommend making time to go visit her. We do stock her yarn, but we sell through it quite quickly. So if you are in town, pop over to see her at the event. For sure. And last, and certainly not least, the lovely Paul and Julie from Harney Hoolies. And there are probably 1,000 people who are going to be there who I don't know yet, who are fantastic, and people who, because I haven't looked at the vendor list, that I don't know are even going.
It's really huge this year. And it's, for those of you who don't know, it's only on tomorrow. It's not on today. It's tomorrow at Pioneer Stadium. But, and the weather tomorrow looks appalling, but at least you'll be warm because you'll be going in and all that wool will be everywhere. So, and if you're from out of town and going, well, then you can pop into town here and have a look and get blocked.
Please do come in. We have, on purpose for this weekend, we have a great selection of our redesign project bags and stuff in store, because we know sometimes it's hard to make a decision online, so we made sure to be really well stocked.
You want to open all the zips and pop all the buttons.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we've got a big selection of the 9s, 10s, and 39s in stock. So those are the 3 main diagonal sizes. We do also have all of the different sizes now, I think, or at least the smaller size and the medium size of the diagonal zip case. Mine is at home because I semi-cleaned out my project bag. I decided to do some wrapping up with my knitting.
Whoa.
Personally. So,
what, like
inside,
finishing off 3 million projects?
Not 3 million, but like finishing off things to a certain point, and now I'm going to pivot to finishing other things.
Right.
I finished spinning the 2 bobbins for my major sweater spin for this year, and so those are now ready to be plied, and so that whole process is nearly finished. So by the end of next week, I will have that whole project finished. I am doing a test knit that is secret, that is contained inside of this bag.
Whoa! Look at it, all fits inside that bag.
Yeah, and so I thought
can't even open it to see how big it is. But
I thought this would be, well, I can tell you what's in here though. That's not against the rules.
Yeah.
So in total so far, with balls knit into the project and some still in there in part, I have used 8 balls of yarn.
Wow.
And that is, sorry, more than that. I'm wrong. I've used 12 because I've used 6 colors of Arwetta and 6 colors of silk, 10. I'm wrong again. 10 in total, plus 2 extra balls of 1, so 12 is correct.
12 actual balls.
12 actual balls, but 6 colors of Arwetta and silk mohair. And the main color I've used 2 balls of, and that's going to be everything I need for this whole project. And it's going to live, including its needle and its pattern, in this bag from start to finish.
Now, can you tell us what the project, not the name or anything, but is it a garment?
It's a shawl.
Oh, right, okay, so
it's a shawl.
So you're not getting a jersey or a.
Well,
possibly you could squish it up.
I mean, the thing is, it's a shawl, and I think it's going to be able to live its whole life in here, and it's not going to be small.
Wow.
So I'll take it out and show you afterwards.
So what project number is that?
This is a project number 9. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip it, because the way I have it scrunched up, you can't really tell what's going on. But this way, because of how I have it angled, Christine can see how big it is.
Yeah, so we've got the project here and the yarn here, and we've got a lot of balls of yarn in there, and the pattern just slots down. Yeah, and the needles fit right in, and there's no problem with anything getting stuck on each other. And it didn't get in the way of the zip at all while you're undoing it, even though it's stuffed to the gills. And when I'm going to put it down, because I can't show you guys, but I'm going to show Christine the wrong side.
on the ground
Oh,
so
I
that
feel
she can
privileged.
see how big it is.
Oh wow.
So it's
Okay.
actually already.
Yeah, it's already a big shawl.
Yeah.
It's like easily this wide.
Yeah, and it fits in the bag quite easily. So
Yeah.
that's the Project 9. I definitely, so what I did is I got to a section of what I was doing where it's a completed piece. And that's when I've stopped. Just as a side note, everybody at home. So that's what I'm considering, like, done to a point with that one. And then I gave myself a firm talking to, and I have to admit, the reason something is like this is because I have now recounted and realized after finishing that I knit an extra half row on the wrong side of the sock, which made it not line up perfectly at the top, which is my own fault. And I'm not frogging back to fix it, it turns out.
Right.
They're
Because
all-
it's a design feature.
No, I'm really annoyed because I figured out how to make the pattern do something. And then I just made a very, I can fix it, I might, anyway, it's not the point. I knit an extra half row at this point here on one sock. You can't tell. Like they
Can
line
anybody see? I'm right next, up close and personal, and I can't even tell.
It's
Really,
pretty,
I think you just need to calm the farm down.
I got it to disperse pretty evenly. I did a
Yeah, it looks
before
great.
I started
Look,
knitting.
it all matches across.
Yeah, so before I started knitting them, I did a swatch and figured out at what gauge, measured against the color repeats, they would subdivide evenly into complete rounds.
Right.
And then I worked out roughly where to start in the repeat with the cast on for the toe after about 4 experiments, and took a picture of where that was. So if you're trying to make opal socks that knit up and matched completely in the 4-ply weight, I have figured out how to do it, and it does, from what I can tell, after 3 different attempts, which is kind of what took so long with these socks.
Mhm.
So I tried it from the cuff down. That was much harder because of the number of stitches you have to cast on. So the margin for error knitting cuff down, if you want them to match, is way higher. It's way easier to screw it up. If you want them to match optimally, you have to knit them from the toe up. There's a specific gauge that works best to distribute the stitches evenly, and if you want them to match really, really well, you kind of just have to accept it. It doesn't make a particularly small sock, as a side note. If you want the like perfectly even stripes like I've managed.
You're talking about like shoe size.
No, it's just a little wide, I think, compared with what a lot of
rather
people.
than sort of
but
snugly. Yeah.
I have a bit of a flipper foot, so for me, I want a sock wider anyway, so this worked out. And yeah, apart from that, you do have to buy the fish lip heel pattern because the fish lip heel uses, with this stitch repeat, exactly 1 stripe's worth of yarn.
Oh yeah, look at that, it's perfect. Wow. Gosh, they look shop bought.
It's, yeah.
Machine made.
Sorry, I was convinced that you could subdivide each repeat by a specific number of stitches to get even stripes. And so I have a bunch of different balls of opal, and you don't have to unravel them to measure the repeat.
Right.
So I measured the repeat of a couple different ones. So all the ones from this print lineup definitely work at this exact stitch count.
Right.
And the ones from the fruit lineup are the same, which are the first 2 4-ply ones that I've checked.
So where are people going to find the stitch count?
I'm going to make it into a pattern.
Right.
Because it's not hard to knit. It's very specific, but it's not hard to knit. It doesn't take very long, and like it makes an attractive sock. And to be clear, there are other ways to accomplish this same feat, I'm pretty certain. But this way is relatively foolproof after doing it twice and quite easy.
Cool. They look great. Yeah, and the opal, we saw them last week. The colours are just amazing.
Yeah, the colors are amazing. Basically, I was sitting there and I said, how do I make them match exactly? And someone said, just pull through the ball to the same point. And that just wasn't a good enough answer for me. So I went on an adventure to find an answer. I also thought I should share something that I do. And I'm not sure if it's a normal habit. So when I always rewind my yarn. So when I buy sock yarn, even if it's pre-balled, I usually wind it, except for the Arwetta. And the only reason I don't with the Arwetta is because I use it for traveling specifically for sock knitting. But I've also gotten really good at winding my own center pull balls by hand. And I have to say, this is a really useful skill.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not hard to do, and it doesn't take long. And would you like to try it out?
Oh wow.
Um,
Gosh.
so it's something
Then
that I
I'll
would.
save the cats chasing it around the floor.
It does, and what's really nice is you can do this mid-project.
Oh.
So if your ball is starting to collapse,
Yes.
you can put it aside, and then now I had a moment where I was going to explain how I do it, and I'm going to show you what I do with my hand to stop the center pull from catching so that you can see. And I think that you're going to tell me. So I hold the ball like this,
Right.
and then I keep my thumb here, and I rotate it like this. And I just don't know if that's super possible while winding like this.
Oh, while winding.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I make my hand into a ball winder, essentially, but I
Oh.
restrain the tail so you can leave it attached to the project without it getting caught
Right.
as you're winding it. And I just realized, like, I just kind of didn't know if that was a thing. So if you're getting to a point in a project where a ball is collapsing, especially with fingering weight, I would recommend, so I'm working my way through the other piece of this guy as well right now, using yet another different redesign project. One, this is the small version. I want to say
That's for socks.
yeah, this is the sock one. This is hats, and this is I have the front and the back of a jumper that fit in here with all of its yarn. Just as a side note. So what Christine said about the Project 10, I don't super agree with. Although this is being knit with negative ease and fingering weight, but so I got part way through. So just so you can see, so you can do it with anything. This is a superwash fingering weight yarn, and I've made a clean working center pull ball out of it. It's totally doable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that my method is something that is like necessarily super accessible because I have relatively high levels of left hand dexterity. But I'm gonna put up how to do it onto the Flock Online. So I'm gonna teach you guys how I do this because I didn't realize until about 2 hours ago that it's probably something that I should check if people do.
Yeah.
So I do this every time that my ball of yarn is collapsing, no matter what the weight is, I stop and I rewind it back into a center pull smaller ball.
Yeah. Because collapsing, which is what happened to me last night.
Oh
God.
On which
Just
project?
On my my starry top.
Which yarn? The tweed.
The tweed. Yeah. But it cuts down on your knitting time when you've
Yeah.
got to sort of, because it all gets knotted and it's just like really.
To be
Yeah.
clear though, the good news is, delivery.
Yeah. Now, before we go to next week, it's Worldwide Knitting and Public Day. Next Saturday. So
Yes.
it's going to be all on in here.
It is Worldwide Knit on Public Day. We're hopefully going to go and hit up a couple of bars. Thank you so much.
Because it's
wonderful
also
supporters who came and
World
went.
Gin Day and World Bourbon Day.
Yes, it is going to be a busy little bit. If you are in town this weekend, please do come in. We do. Oh, sorry, someone wanted to see the Issachar soft. The Issachar soft is what I'm wearing. Just for
Yeah, the Issachar soft. Oh, now I decided on the winter white colour for my Sophie hood.
I'm just going to grab 3 very different colors. Now, if you knit them like this, you could pull off a really quite effective, either a salute to Tony the Tiger or a really great take on the original version of Beetlejuice, which I actually think, if you're into that sort of aesthetic, that is quite an effective color palette. So that is, we'll call this the Beetlejuice mock-up. But yes, so this is the Issachar Soft. It is a blown yarn, so it is an organic cotton center that is white on
And
all
that's
of
where
the
the
bases.
white comes through, yeah.
And then it has alpaca blown through it, and it is, as it says on the packet, soft.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. Like the good news is they're very literal with the before we go. Yeah. So if they're like alpaca one, they mean alpaca one. Do you know what I mean? Like, and once you realize that they're just being literal, you're like, oh, okay, that's easier to navigate. Great. So we're gonna pop along.
Yep.
And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
And keep warm.
Sorry for being
and
late.
wear your woolies.
Yeah. And go to Wolfie's tomorrow and come here.
Yeah.
The yarn party is on as always. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.